Hi, today I'm gonna be going over my build for Devil West. I'm still testing Devil North. I only need to test it for Y26. It works for all the other waves, but I still haven't got Y26 on this side. So after I test if it works for that wave, I'm also gonna post that one, but today I'm just gonna be focusing on this side. Devil West has a few different spawns. The has can spawn all the way down here, there, and also there's a very rare spawn that can happen up there. Now, a lot of people struggle on this side because there's a lava bomb that can destroy a lot of your tunnels that you try to build here. So what we are gonna do is just block this entire side and path all the husks to go through this tunnel over here. Some people actually managed to build a tunnel here, just shifting the lava bombs to the side of their tunnel, but it's very risky because if propane explodes on one of the floors that's shifting the lava bomb, the lava bomb is gonna be back to the original position and start breaking everything in your tunnel. So much safer just to block this side. So for this block off, we're gonna come down here. Here's where there's a natural ramp that begins. We're just gonna block that off with all walls. Here it's just floors. Unedited ramps on all over here, just covering the ramp. Then an edited comp only that way. Another one here. More ramps. There's nothing below them. Here there's another row of ramps and walls. And we're actually gonna be placing floors this way. Here, here, here. This is all just to shift the lava bomb. If we go under here, you can see all the floors. Then another layer of walls. Then here it's empty below. Empty. Also empty. And here there's one more order like this. Then just walls. And more walls. Now here we're just gonna be placing a lot of floors, just to avoid husks from coming this way too. And walls here. Then on top of those floors we're gonna be placing 3 cones, and the last one can be left free. All the rest is for Devil North that I'm gonna be going over it in the next the next time I actually post that video. So once more. Then here, this is only for the rare spawn that can happen up here. Same with this wall. This is for sometimes the house can jump down here and try to break here, so this is just going to push them all the way over here. And once they are in this spot, they actually prefer to go through that ramp and into the tunnel instead of breaking. The rest of the husks are gonna be trying to break through one of these 2 walls and then try to break here. So we're using these wall launchers. These 2 have the following perks: 4 impact, 1 reload, and heals attached. You can use without heals and durability here, but it's a bit more risky. That way, there's just enough distance to push them all the way here into the water, and they have to take a run that's all the way over there. As 3 times impact in these wall launchers is only going to push the house up to these 2 tiles, so it's not enough to knock them into the water. And in this one I'm using just 3 times impact and double reload. These ones. If you're worried about any has trying to break through here, you can also add just any healing wall launchers on these walls. There's also a very rare spawn, I've only seen it a couple of times, in which has can actually spawn here, like inside this ramp. But instead of actually like breaking and going through all the block off, they just break through one of these walls and take the intended pathing. But I'm still leaving these walls just in case there's a smasher that spawns like very close to this side, just as an extra layer of protection. Now we can look at the actual trap tunnel, as most of the hulls are gonna path all the way there, up the ramp, and into one of the 2 entrances of the tunnel. Most of them are gonna be going this way, but there's a lot of hulls that spawn up here, so they usually tend to come on this path instead. Now here we're using a lot of sound walls, because on wave 6, that's where this amplifier always is gonna get attacked. There's a lot of propanes, so we really need to get rid of them before they can explode everything inside the tunnel. And then when they finally come down here, they usually come this way and try to get to this part of the amplifier. So I'm just using one retractable here and some electric fields just to finish anything that manages to escape the tunnel, and also some welders here for the same reason. They're gonna shoot anyone that's trying to walk here. Now for the track perks, we can start with the sound walls. Here I'm using 3 that are gonna be just hitting them as they spawn. I believe I'm using these ones here. I'm not using at the beginning just the double reload legendary, because they are not gonna hit every has. Like sometimes they can path here, and they can path like in the middle, and they're not gonna be hit every time, so I'm saving that, the double legendary reload, just for the first one. One here, and one here on each of the entrances. Then here I'm using 1 with 1 reload speed and the rest durability. Then since this one is double reload, here I'm using 1 that's a bit slower with 1 blue reload. Same on this side. Then here they're gonna be frozen, just to give more chance to these 2 to remove the propanes. I'm using 1 with 1 reload, and 1 with 1 legendary and 1 purple reload. Here and here. And same on this side. 1 reload and 1 with 1 legendary and 1 purple. And here I'm using just you can use this one, or maybe one of these, just if you want to make them all different. That should give you a really good chance to just remove every single propane from them. There's rare chances that sometimes they can explode, but you have to be very unlucky for that. Then for these 2 freeze traps, I'm using without any impact, just 3 durability, 2 reload and effect duration. And that should keep the house frozen here while the other sound walls are hitting them. Then for these 2 wooden floor spikes, I'm using the usual crit build. That's crit rating, double crit damage and damage. And on the first 2 of the tunnel, I'm trying to use these ones. You can use any wooden floor spike you want, but I'm trying to do less damage on the first tile. Just with no investing on the damage perk and for durability and heals. This is just as an attempt to do less damage to propanes until they don't have any propane tanks on them. Then for the retractables, they are all just crit rating, double crit damage and damage. Same with all the wall darts. Crit rating, double crit and damage. This one just shooting them all the way here. All those 4 just shooting through the windows and the low walls. Here the same. Then the ceiling electric fields, I'm using crit rating, double crit damage and damage. You can use either nature or energy. I'm using nature just to have more chances to survive waves 21 and 26. Those are the random waves. So since those are water, you're doing more damage with nature traps instead of energy. The same goes for the wall dynamos. You can use energy or nature, but nature is gonna do more damage on those waves. And since those has have a lot more health than the lower waves, you really want the extra damage that you get from nature. So for these wall dynamos, I'm using one with crit rating, crit damage, and reload, and in front one with crit rating, double crit damage, and damage. Since they are on the same tile, I'm using one of each, just so they go off at different times. Same here. And then here on this timeout, this is only for smashers, and those don't really come very often, so you can just use double crit damage on both, like this. Because it's rare to get smashers, and those are the only ones that are gonna fall in here because of the wall lights. So for those, you don't really need the reload. Then well, for the wall light, I'm using triple impact, double reload, and effect duration. And then for this target, it's just the usual all durability. This is just a timeout for smashers. It's only gonna go off like 2 or 3 times. After that, the smasher is not gonna be affected by the wall lights. But it's usually safer to try to kill the smasher, at least on wave 6. This should kill any smasher. If any smasher doesn't die in the tunnel, I'm using a smasher bridge. Basically, I'm using this aided floor here, and the stair aided this way. And the smasher comes here, sees the wall, and starts charging and falls. Yeah, using those floors are edited. Then these 2 low walls, 4 low walls, 2 more low walls. And all of this is just to hold some extra ceiling electric fuels for any house that escape the tunnel. And those 2 edited arches that way. These other 2. This is mostly for mini bosses, but since the update, it's very hard to kill all the smashers. I used to have 3 timeouts like this one. Like I had one here and another one here. So this tunnel killed all the smashers in the past, but now they become immune to the wall lights, so I just got rid of the 2 timeouts and left only one. So now I have to rely a lot more on the smasher bridge. one thing that can happen with Smasher Bridge is Smashers tend to phase through the stairs. And when they phase, they want to try to break them instead of going down and back up again. So that's why I added this low floor. This actually bugs the Smashers, and when they start to go through the stairs, they get stuck on the floor, and eventually they just turn around and start charging from here. Then they want to go up the stairs, and the same happens again. Then the mini boss usually comes up to here, then teleports to the side and sits here, then teleports, and so on. And also for the gas traps, I'm using the same as in other amplifiers: crit rating, double crit damage, and effect duration. If you still have troubles with propane, you can break these two, this one, and same on this side. And simply build here and place two tire traps like this: crit rating, crit damage, and reload speed. That's another option. That should give you... that should start pushing the hus here, keeping them under the influence of the sound walls, and giving you more chances to actually get rid of the propane tanks. But that's just an option. Usually this one is enough, and gas traps do a lot more damage than the tires. So it's up to you if you want to try that one or the one I'm using right now. Then we have this wall launcher here. I'm using this one to impact, to reload, and to durability. That pushes them right here again, in case any propane actually makes it to this tile and gets pushed here. You can also just break this one and add an edited load wall here with the dynamo, and then you can add an extra wall dart here shooting through the load wall. It's up to you. If you have any has like actually making it to the amplifier, you can do that for extra damage. This wall dynamo, I think I didn't mention it, but since it's close to the start, just with the reload speed instead of double crit damage. And if you do the low wall there, you can use double crit damage to make them go off at different times. Same goes for that wall dynamo. Since it's at the beginning, it's just with a reload. And I'm using a window instead of a low one, just because it's close to where propanes can explode, so the window has more HP than the low wall, so even if there's an explosion, it's still gonna be here. And then finally, for the ceiling sapper, as usual, I'm using the crit build, damage, double crit damage, and crit rating, just to finish off any hus that gets to this tile. Here, in case I didn't show it properly, there's a wall dart shooting through this edited wall that has the sound wall. Sometimes hus can phase into this box. Like while they are dancing here, sometimes I get pushed inside here and try to break one of these walls. Usually the wall dart is gonna kill them, but if you still have any issues, you can just use healing dynamo, one of these, with heals attached on whatever wall you see that's being broken more often. But usually I've only seen it twice happen, so I just left it like this. Then also I forgot to mention this wall launcher. This is only for flingers. Sometimes a flinger is gonna stand here because it thinks that it can throw at the amplifier from that side. Because it's almost on range, like usually they can throw from that range. So you can use any wall launcher you want here. Any wall launcher is gonna work. I believe I'm just using this one, triple impact to reload and durability, but any other launcher is gonna work too. And then for assassin hats, since I'm AFK over there, and they want to go on a straight line to you, all the assassin heads are gonna be coming here and standing still most of the wave, and sometimes they actually decide to go inside the tunnel and die here. If you want, you can just add any damage trap here to kill them, but they're not doing anything, so it doesn't matter. And that's pretty much it. Usually all the early waves are gonna be just fine on this amplifier. The only waves that can maybe go wrong are 21 and 26, because those have more HP, and all the physical traps are gonna be doing less damage to the water half. 21 is usually fine, but 26 might be a problem for you. So I just recommend coming here and placing your base and watching in case any has makes it to the amplifier. You can also just, on these tiles, add more retractable spikes or any other damage floor trap. Or you can also just change a bit of the ending of the tunnel, like getting rid of the Smasher timeout and just adding like a dynamo here, and simply adding more damage. But it's up to you. The most important thing about this is blocking that side and then using all this room you have here for a decent tunnel. And the main challenge on Devil is always gonna be propane. But with this system, you're usually gonna be fine. You also have a ton of options on what to do with this tunnel. This is just what I came up with. I've done a few different ones, but this is the one I've been using for a while. You can, for example, just path them this way instead of a straight path here, and that will allow you to add like an extra wall dart here, more wall traps there, a wall dart there for them, an extra ceiling trap. There's plenty of stuff that you can do. Just, as you can see, there's a lot of room just to add extra damage. So if this is not enough for you, you can just take the idea of blocking one side and trapping the other, and come up with your own damage tunnel. So yeah, that's it. Good luck building it, and see you on the next battle.